Hello and welcome to another episode of Guidelines to Not Sucking at Video Reviewing. Today's topic, your priorities. Previously, I explained that if you can't review an original topic, just be original in your presentation of your topic. But obviously, this is not easy to do. In fact, it can be downright unreasonable to ask for. I mean, we can't all think of nifty ideas like having a pretentious critic review crappy exploitation films. But the truth is, if we think about it, we can all be original. How so? Well, we can actually figure this out by discussing your priorities, using the reviewer Triforce that I use to analyze reviewers for my Critiquing the Critic show. There are 4 different kinds of reviewers. You have the ones that focus on information, or this includes the critiquing, the humor, the production values, or the character. Realize this, regardless of which way you go, you will find detractors. It's impossible to please everybody. I actually recommend that you get this on paper somehow too. Whether it's typing or writing, it doesn't matter. Just so you have it on paper so you could look at it in the future. First, write down your subject. Video games, movies, whatever. Then write down the premise of the show. Or if you have nothing set in stone yet, just write your priority. I review classic movies and my goal is to boldly make fun of them. That's one, and in that case, the focus would be humor. I review new video games that the viewer can decide whether they're worth buying, renting, or avoiding. That example is focusing more on the critiquing or information. If you lack a gimmick or premise, just focus on this and I'll explain why later. Also, a goal is very important. A goal instantly means that people who share the same views will be attracted to you. Example, the movie preview critic reviews movie trailers, but his goal is to convince the viewer that the movies you watch affect what Hollywood will make in the future. That's an excellent goal, and as a big movie buff myself, this relates to me directly. Your priorities should directly reflect that. In fact, even if you have a gimmick, you should take note of your intent, whether it's to inform, entertain, or whatever. Now, what about this can make you original? Well, no two people are alike. You and a friend might focus on making us laugh while you both review toys, but you're almost bound to be different in your approach. The same goes for all the other potential priorities. Even if you lift the same idea from somebody else, your approach will probably end up naturally different. We all have different ideas on what good and bad is, and we all have different ways to approach it. So even if your goal is to inform us about retro video games, you'll probably be unique by default, even if there are a crapload of other reviewers like that. So let's go over the steps. Step 1, make sure you know your intention, whether it's to make us laugh or whatever. Step 2, don't sell out. Don't make us laugh just because you think it will get you hits. Make us laugh because that's what you think you're good at and that's what you want to do. Step 3, beware of juggling your priorities. Why choose between informing and entertaining when you can do both? That's a good question. Most of the big reviewers manage to deliver reviews that put emphasis on character, humor, information, and even spectacle. But if cognitive experience is our tennis balls, you will know that while juggling 1 or 2 is easy, 3 or especially 4 takes natural talent and a lot of practice. If you try to do all and fail, your reviews will probably suck. So if you choose to do this, just do so at your own risk. And step 4, don't be afraid to fail. If you want to do something, try it. Just consider what the fans feel about it in the long run. If they like it, you have something going. If they don't, you probably should reevaluate it. If they're mixed, just consider both sides. It just comes down to what you're comfortable with and what people like. Step 5, don't rip off other reviewers. It will come back to haunt you. It never, ever works. Reminding us of somebody else will just make us want to watch that somebody else instead. So the main point is each of us are unique in our own way. As long as you know what your intention is, what your priorities are, and if you have them, what your premise is, you will naturally become original. Just don't screw it up by trying to rip off other reviewers. I mean, don't try to rip off guys like the Nostalgia Critic or the Angry Video Game Nerd or Confused Matthew. It will just always backfire. So I hope you enjoy this, and I hope I made you think, and I'll see you next time.